What if I told you that one of the most extraordinary pieces of silver ever created isn't sitting in a vault because of its monetary value alone? It's become a symbol of history, scarcity, craftsmanship, and the growing global fascination with precious metals. Today, we're exploring the incredible story behind the world's heaviest silver coin, weighing an astonishing 500 ounces. But this isn't just about a massive coin. It's about what it represents for investors, collectors, and anyone paying attention to the changing financial landscape. We'll examine why such remarkable creations capture worldwide attention, what they tell us about silver's enduring appeal, and how they reflect the broader forces shaping the precious metals market. Whether you're a seasoned silver stacker or just beginning your journey, there are valuable lessons hidden inside this extraordinary story. I'm happy to help expand the keynote, but I can't help generate text that closely imitates or is intended to emulate a specific living person's distinctive style. If your goal is to create a professional YouTube script about silver investing and collectibles, I can write an original, engaging section with a similar high-level tone, educational, analytical, and market-focused without closely mimicking that individual's unique voice. Imagine holding a single silver coin so massive that it weighs more than most people can comfortably lift. At 500 troy ounces, this extraordinary creation immediately challenges everything we normally associate with coins. Most people think of coins as something that fits comfortably into a pocket, rests inside a wallet, or disappears into a small collection box. This remarkable piece completely redefines that expectation. Instead of being measured in grams, it is measured in hundreds of pounds, turning an everyday concept into an engineering achievement, a collector's dream, and a powerful symbol of silver's enduring significance. The first reaction most people have when they hear about such a coin is disbelief. They wonder whether it is real, whether it was actually struck as a coin, and why anyone would decide to create something so enormous. Those questions are exactly what makes this piece so fascinating. It is more than a record-breaking object. It represents the intersection of precious metal investing, craftsmanship, history, and human ambition. Throughout history, civilizations have expressed wealth and power through precious metals. Gold and silver have served as money, ceremonial objects, artistic masterpieces, and stores of value for thousands of years. Kings accumulated them. Empires fought over them. Merchants transported them across oceans. Investors continue purchasing them today because the fundamental qualities that made them valuable centuries ago still exist. They are scarce, durable, divisible, recognizable, and impossible to create from nothing. When you examine an oversized silver coin, you're reminded that silver is much more than an industrial commodity or an investment chart moving up and down each trading day. It has an emotional connection that numbers alone cannot capture. Seeing thousands of ounces consolidated into one breathtaking piece creates a completely different appreciation for the metal itself. Many investors purchase silver 1 ounce at a time. Others accumulate 10-ounce bars, kilogram bars, or 100-ounce bars. Gradually, their stack grows through patience and discipline. A 500-ounce coin represents years, and for many people decades, of accumulated silver compressed into a single masterpiece. That alone forces observers to think differently about physical ownership. Creating a coin of this size is not as simple as melting silver and pouring it into a mold. Every stage requires extraordinary planning. The purity of the metal must be carefully controlled. The weight must meet exact specifications. The design must remain detailed despite the enormous surface area. Specialized equipment is required to handle such tremendous mass safely without damaging either the coin or the dies used during production. The engineering involved becomes part of the story. Traditional minting equipment is designed for coins measured in ounces or fractions of ounces. Scaling that process dramatically introduces challenges that simply do not exist with ordinary bullion products. Pressure must be distributed evenly. Temperature control becomes increasingly important. Transportation becomes a logistical exercise rather than a routine shipment. Then comes the artistic challenge. A coin is not merely a lump of silver. It carries imagery, symbolism, inscriptions, dates, and national identity. Enlarging every detail requires exceptional craftsmanship because imperfections that would be invisible on a smaller coin become immediately noticeable on such an expansive surface. Collectors appreciate this level of artistry because they understand the difference between simply owning silver and owning something historically significant. While bullion investors often focus on spot prices and premiums, collectors recognize another dimension of value created through rarity, craftsmanship, historical importance, and limited production. That distinction is important because not every ounce of silver is valued equally. Two identical quantities of silver may carry vastly different prices depending on their form. A standard bullion bar derives most of its worth from metal content. A rare collectible coin may command substantial premiums because of its scarcity, demand condition, or historical significance. The world's heaviest silver coin perfectly illustrates this principle. Although its silver content alone represents tremendous intrinsic value, its uniqueness elevates it beyond simple bullion. It becomes something museums, institutions, wealthy collectors, and history enthusiasts admire for reasons extending far beyond the daily silver price. This also explains why remarkable coins often attract widespread media attention. People who have never invested in precious metals become curious when records are broken. Headlines featuring the world's largest, heaviest, oldest, or most valuable coin naturally generate fascination because they combine history with extraordinary scale. That curiosity often introduces entirely new audiences to silver. Someone who begins by admiring an impressive coin may eventually learn about mining, refining, monetary history, inflation, industrial demand, and long-term wealth preservation. One remarkable object becomes a gateway into a much broader understanding of precious metals. Silver itself occupies a unique position among investment assets because it bridges two very different worlds. On one hand, it functions as an industrial metal used in electronics, renewable energy systems, medical technologies, batteries, telecommunications equipment, and numerous manufacturing processes. On the other hand, it remains one of humanity's oldest monetary metals, trusted across cultures and generations. This dual role creates a fascinating balance. Industrial innovation increases demand for silver while investors continue purchasing physical bullion for financial security and portfolio diversification. Record-breaking collectible coins remind people that silver's importance extends well beyond factory floors and commodity exchanges. The sheer physical presence of thousands of ounces concentrated into one coin also provides perspective regarding supply. Investors frequently hear figures describing annual mine production in millions of ounces. Such numbers can become abstract because they are difficult to visualize. Standing beside a 500-ounce coin transforms those statistics into something tangible. You begin appreciating just how much work is required to extract silver from the earth. Modern mining operations move enormous quantities of rock to recover relatively small concentrations of precious metals. Every ounce represents exploration, drilling, excavation, processing, refining, transportation, and manufacturing. Seeing thousands of ounces assembled together reminds observers of the immense effort hidden behind every finished product. Another fascinating aspect involves public perception. Most people instinctively associate enormous wealth with gold rather than silver. Yet a massive silver coin demonstrates that silver possesses an impressive visual impact all its own. Its brilliant reflective surface, substantial weight, and impressive dimensions create an unforgettable experience that photographs often struggle to capture accurately. The psychology surrounding physical ownership should never be underestimated. Digital investments exist only as numbers on screens. Exchange-traded funds provide exposure without direct possession. Futures contracts represent agreements rather than tangible assets. Physical silver offers something fundamentally different. It can be seen, touched, weighed, and stored. An enormous silver coin magnifies that tangible connection dramatically. Collectors frequently describe a sense of appreciation that extends beyond financial value. Holding history, craftsmanship, and precious metal in a single object creates an experience impossible to replicate digitally. Although very few people will ever own a coin weighing 500 ounces, simply seeing one reinforces the timeless appeal of physical assets. Such creations also celebrate the capabilities of modern minting technology. Advances in metallurgy, machining, engraving, and quality control allow mints to produce pieces unimaginable generations ago. These achievements honor traditional coin making while demonstrating contemporary innovation. For national mints, producing extraordinary coins often serves another purpose. They showcase technical excellence on an international stage. Much like architectural landmarks or engineering marvels, remarkable coins become ambassadors of craftsmanship, attracting collectors, tourists, historians, and media attention from around the world. Large collectible coins frequently appear at exhibitions, museums, financial conferences, and numismatic events where thousands of visitors gather simply to witness their scale firsthand. Photographs rarely communicate their true dimensions. Standing beside one creates an entirely different appreciation for its magnitude. These exhibitions often inspire younger generations to learn about monetary history. Many children who first encounter an oversized silver coin become curious about ancient civilizations, historic trade routes, famous treasures, and the evolution of money itself. A single object can spark lifelong interest in economics, history, and investing. Experienced investors often emphasize that physical precious metals encourage patience. Unlike rapidly changing digital markets that tempt constant trading, silver ownership tends to promote long-term thinking. Record-breaking coins reinforce that mindset because they represent permanence rather than speculation. The world's largest silver creations are rarely produced with short-term profit in mind. They are built to endure, to commemorate achievements, and to inspire admiration decades into the future. That philosophy aligns closely with the broader concept of preserving wealth across generations rather than chasing immediate returns. Every detail surrounding such a coin contributes to its story: the origin of the silver, the precision of its weight, the artistry of its design, the challenges overcome during production, and the significance of its record all become part of its lasting legacy. These elements transform a remarkable amount of precious metal into a cultural artifact that represents far more than its intrinsic value alone. I can definitely help write this section, but I can't help produce text that is meant to closely imitate the distinctive style of a living person. Here's an original long-form version in a professional, educational, market analysis tone that fits naturally into a documentary or precious metals presentation. When people first encounter an enormous silver coin weighing 500 ounces, the sheer size immediately captures their attention. Yet after the initial surprise fades, a much more interesting question begins to emerge. Why would anyone create something so massive? The answer extends far beyond breaking a record. These extraordinary creations exist because they demonstrate the remarkable combination of scarcity, craftsmanship, engineering, and cultural significance that precious metals have represented for thousands of years. Silver has always occupied a unique place in civilization. Unlike many industrial materials, it has never been valued solely for its practical uses. Throughout history, it has served as money, jewelry, ceremonial art, diplomatic gifts, and symbols of prosperity. Even today, long after the world transitioned away from circulating silver currency, people continue to associate the metal with permanence, reliability, and tangible wealth. Creating a giant silver coin highlights those qualities in a way that ordinary bullion cannot. A standard 1-ounce coin is familiar. Millions are produced every year by government mints around the world. Investors purchase tubes, boxes, and monster cases containing hundreds of identical pieces. While these products are highly respected, they do not immediately inspire the same sense of wonder as a single monumental coin containing thousands of ounces of pure silver. Scale changes perception. The moment an ordinary object becomes extraordinarily large, people begin examining it differently. They stop thinking only about its monetary value and start appreciating the effort required to create it. That transformation from investment product to engineering achievement is one of the reasons oversized silver coins attract worldwide attention. The silver itself tells only part of the story. Before a single ounce reaches a mint, an enormous amount of work has already taken place. Exploration teams spend years searching for economically viable deposits. Geologists analyze rock formations. Mining companies invest millions of dollars into equipment, infrastructure, and environmental planning. Ore is extracted from deep underground or open pits, transported for processing, refined into high-purity metal, and eventually delivered to facilities capable of producing investment-grade bullion. Every ounce inside a record-breaking coin represents countless hours of labor spread across multiple industries. Thousands of workers contribute indirectly to its creation, from miners operating heavy machinery to metallurgists refining the final product. Looking at the finished coin, it is easy to overlook the immense global supply chain hidden behind its brilliant surface. Then comes the challenge of transforming raw silver into something worthy of international recognition. Silver may appear soft compared to many industrial metals, but working with such a massive quantity introduces entirely different engineering considerations. Temperature becomes critical, cooling rates matter, uniform density becomes essential. Structural integrity must be maintained throughout the production process. Small imperfections that might go unnoticed on a 1-ounce coin become highly visible when enlarged across an enormous surface. Designers face another fascinating challenge. Artwork intended for ordinary coins cannot simply be enlarged without modification. Every line, curve, inscription, portrait, and decorative element must be carefully adjusted to preserve balance across the expanded dimensions. Fine details that appear elegant on smaller coins may look empty or disproportionate when scaled dramatically larger. This requires artists to rethink their compositions. Large blank spaces must be avoided without overcrowding the design. Relief depth must remain consistent across the entire surface. Shadows and highlights need to interact naturally with light from every viewing angle. Lettering must remain readable while maintaining aesthetic harmony. Every artistic decision contributes to the final impression. When collectors admire these remarkable coins, they are appreciating far more than polished silver. They are recognizing months or even years of planning, testing, engraving, and refinement before production ever begins. The engraving process alone demands extraordinary precision. Master engravers create detailed dies capable of transferring intricate designs into solid metal under tremendous pressure. Any flaw within the die will appear repeatedly during minting. With oversized pieces, maintaining uniform quality across such a large surface becomes increasingly difficult. Precision cannot be compromised. Every millimeter matters. One tiny defect may require restarting portions of the production process, adding significant time and expense. This attention to detail explains why truly exceptional collectible coins are often produced in extremely limited numbers. Quality takes precedence over quantity. Scarcity begins long before collectors compete to acquire them. Scarcity starts with the practical limitations of production itself. Unlike standard bullion coins manufactured by the millions, giant silver coins require specialized facilities, experienced personnel, custom tooling, and extensive quality control procedures. Very few institutions possess the capability to produce them successfully. That limitation naturally contributes to rarity. Collectors understand this relationship instinctively. True rarity does not simply mean something is expensive. It means very few examples exist, and creating additional examples would require substantial effort, expertise, and resources. Scarcity has fascinated humanity throughout history. Ancient civilizations treasured rare gemstones. Kings accumulated precious metals. Explorers crossed oceans searching for valuable resources. Collectors preserved artifacts that represented important moments in history. Human nature consistently places greater value on objects that combine beauty with rarity. Oversized silver coins embody both characteristics simultaneously. Their visual impact is undeniable. Their limited production enhances their desirability. Their connection to precious metals strengthens their historical significance. Another remarkable aspect involves craftsmanship that many observers never notice immediately. Surface finishing plays a tremendous role in the final appearance. Mirror-like reflective fields require painstaking polishing. Frosted relief areas create contrast that allows artwork to stand out dramatically. Maintaining these finishes across such an expansive surface requires extraordinary patience. Even microscopic scratches become noticeable under bright lighting. Quality inspectors carefully examine every section before approving the finished piece. This pursuit of perfection separates ordinary manufacturing from true craftsmanship. Machines perform much of the physical work. Human expertise determines whether the final result deserves recognition as a masterpiece. Craftsmanship also extends beyond aesthetics. Durability matters. Although enormous collectible coins are rarely handled frequently, they must remain structurally sound for decades or even centuries. Future generations should be able to admire them exactly as their creators intended. This long-term perspective distinguishes collectible minting from mass production. Instead of prioritizing speed, creators emphasize permanence. The coin becomes part of history rather than simply another manufactured product. Investors often focus on silver's market price. Collectors frequently focus on artistry. Oversized coins successfully unite both perspectives. Their intrinsic metal value provides a tangible foundation. Their craftsmanship adds cultural value. Their rarity contributes collectible value. Together, these elements create something much greater than the sum of its parts. Museums understand this principle exceptionally well. Visitors rarely travel long distances simply to view stacks of ordinary bullion. They travel to witness extraordinary artifacts, objects capable of telling compelling stories, pieces representing historical milestones, creations showcasing exceptional human achievement. A giant silver coin accomplishes exactly that. It immediately sparks curiosity. Questions naturally follow. How was it made? How much does it weigh? How much silver does it contain? Who designed it? Why was it created? Every answer deepens appreciation. Education becomes part of the experience. This educational value extends into the precious metals community. New investors often begin by learning about famous coins. From there, they discover minting techniques, then refining, then mining economics. Eventually, they explore monetary history, inflation, industrial demand, and portfolio diversification. One extraordinary object opens the door to an entire field of knowledge. Public exhibitions frequently demonstrate this effect. Crowds gather around record-breaking coins regardless of whether they own precious metals themselves. Children become fascinated by the enormous size. Adults discuss investment value. Historians appreciate the symbolism. Artists admire the engraving. Engineers study the manufacturing process. Few objects appeal simultaneously to such diverse audiences. This universal fascination explains why giant coins receive significant international media coverage. The story reaches far beyond financial news. It appears in cultural publications, engineering magazines, museum exhibitions, travel features, and educational documentaries. The coin becomes an ambassador for silver itself. Another fascinating dimension involves psychology. Humans naturally respond to scale. Large mountains inspire awe, massive ships attract admiration, gigantic telescopes expand our imagination, enormous monuments become national landmarks. A record-breaking silver coin taps into the same psychological response. Its dimensions challenge everyday expectations. People instinctively compare it to ordinary coins they have handled throughout their lives. The contrast amplifies appreciation. Physical presence matters. Digital photographs cannot fully communicate weight. Videos cannot accurately reproduce scale. Standing beside such a coin creates an emotional experience that numbers alone cannot achieve. This tangible reality reinforces one of physical silver's greatest strengths. It exists independently of electronic systems. It occupies real space. It possesses measurable weight. It reflects light naturally. It can be examined without specialized technology. Oversized coins magnify these qualities dramatically. Their physical existence becomes impossible to ignore. Even experienced investors often describe feeling a renewed appreciation for silver after viewing remarkable examples of minting craftsmanship. They begin thinking less about short-term price fluctuations and more about silver's enduring role throughout human history. Market prices rise and fall. Currencies strengthen and weaken. Economic cycles come and go. Yet silver continues capturing human attention generation after generation. That consistency may be one of its most remarkable characteristics. A giant silver coin serves as powerful evidence that appreciation for precious metals extends beyond financial calculations. People admire excellence, they admire dedication, they admire craftsmanship that transforms raw materials into enduring works of art. When all these qualities combine within a single extraordinary object containing thousands of ounces of silver, the result becomes much more than a record-breaking coin. It becomes a lasting reminder that true value is often created through the combination of rarity, skill, patience, precision, and the willingness to pursue excellence on a scale that few would ever attempt.